Hello, very good evening to everyone. Welcome to the video recording sessions again. So as usual, I'm going to talk about the Singapore market, and today I'm going to add on a short segment on the US market where I'm going to talk about some Nasdaq stocks. As all of us know that Nasdaq has been trying to bottom up, and then let's see whether is there any chance for it to do so. So we're going to study some of the stocks that is very popular in the US market trading. And of course, I'd just like to add a little bit of spices of that over there, where I'm going to talk about, why these counters are good. Basically, counters are good needs to be supported by their earnings. And if the earnings is good, likelihood the stocks price can move. Okay, so basically we will be looking at STI first, then we look at Nasdaq. All right, now let me just share the screen on the chart. Let's see, where do we have? Okay, so what you're looking at is the STI. So previously, when we covered STI, if you remember last week, I mentioned that STI, the highs are almost the same, but you notice that the candle low itself are getting higher. So these are signs that the potential upward movement is on the cards. Okay, so indeed STI did break up and then tested the resistance as I mentioned. Is around here, about 3142. But it has been consistently trying to break up from the resistance. As you can see, the highs are almost the same every day for the past 4 days. They consistently attempt to break up from or test this level at 3148. Now, there are people who ask me, what is test? Now, when in stocks trading, when we say test, is where the market or the particular stocks go to certain price level and then attempt to trade higher from there. If it fail to trade higher from there, so it's like a test and then unsuccessful test. Now, if the test is successful, it will go to the level and break out from this level. So this is a test. It's just trying to see whether it has the strength to go up there. So in terms of the stock market, there is a lot of so-called testing going on. Why? Because they need to find out who is the opposite counterparty that is trading. So if they find out that actually there's no counterparty trading against them, they have their own free of way, then this is where they have the control. So this is where a lot of people will say buyer in control or seller in control. So if buyer is in control, if you are the buyer and you have the control, of course, it's easier for you to have the share moving to your target. Now, of course, when we talk about in technical terms, we look at the chart where we see the candles based on the shadows and the candle body. So some of you may not know what is technical analysis. If you're watching this video, let me just share a little bit with you. Where if you look at the white here, the white part here, this is called the candle body. The black here, this is called the candle body. The lines over here are called shadows. The shadows represents uncertainty. The body represents certainty. So when we look at the shadows and the body, then this is where we can gauge roughly whether the stock is bullish or uncertain or bearish. So from here, you can see that for STI, for the past consecutive days, the highs are almost the same, but you realize that the lows are getting lower. So it descends gracefully, right, lower, pulling back subtly to suggest that the potential strength is still there. I mean, the bullish strength is still there. But of course, the shadows also suggest there's a lot of uncertainty where they don't know whether should they be pushing up higher to the next resistance or they should actually reset the whole chart, restart again, and then form another uptrend. Okay, so when we look at such a scenario, of course, the opposite is true. If the lows are getting higher, of course, it's more bullish. The lows are getting lower, of course, it's lesser bullish. But we can see that the support, if it hasn't broken yet cleanly, we still have a chance for the whole so-called market to revive its bullish strength and then go forward to the next level. So here we can see that STI has a gap over here. This becomes a gap support as it gradually fill up the gap while forming the upper shadow getting longer and longer. So it tells you more uncertainty, and really we have to watch for the next movement. So to put the long story short, what we just need to see is if there is a long black candle over here, right, pushing below this level, okay, this level, then this is where you may see more downward movement. So if this happen, the whole chart would looks pretty bearish, and we may need to see STI go down further, reset the whole thing again, and then start over to assess whether it's bullish or bearish. If STI can break out over here, then we can see that this is a bullish movement. A strong upward breakout would suggest that uptrend continues. But of course, sometime a breakout could be the last exhaustive movement before it start to change its trend. So really, to be more precise, is that we really got to at this point of time, we really got to move step by step, right? Not to get overly exposed to the market, trade within our means, and then just in case if the market were to move in a new directions, we are ready to get out, and then at a smaller what we call the wound, a smaller damage, and then move again, right, when the back in again when the market is ready to move up higher. So what are the chances that STI is going to move down? What are the chances that STI is going to move up? We can take a look at these the banks, so which is the heavy weightage of the STI. So you can take a look at DBS right now. So DBS, it rebounded from this low. So as I mentioned that DBS has a support around 2780 last week, and then if we rebound back to its high, there is a chance for it to go higher. So you rebounded on this particular day, and then you went and test a high, but it failed to close higher, and it started to pull back for the past 2 days. Okay, so the good thing is the pullback volume is not that high, but then the chart is still not as clear yet whether DBS can sustain a bullish run, or it will move into a sideways direction where it pull back down to this support and rebound. So how does it correlate to STI? So if DBS were to continue to move down, and there are other blue chips are moving down as well, of course you can see STI moving down lower. So if DBS is moving to test support level, then it would probably drag down STI. But if DBS were to break up from this level and retest the high over here, okay, so here we can see a resistance tested again, and this would put DBS back on track to move up northwards. Okay, so it can move higher where you will anticipate another upward movement from the breakout to push DBS to about 3026. Okay, so let's see where DBS is going to move. Sadly, I don't see a good entry for DBS as yet, but then I'm just watching where could be the next movement. Okay, so one might anticipate that, oh yeah, if DBS is going to break out from here, maybe I can take an entry, and if it can break out from this reason, yeah, I still have more upside to go. But yes, that's fine. If you want to take the risk, do take note that if it breaks this support level, be careful. Maybe it's time for you to run if it fails to break out higher. Okay, OCBC. slightly different from DBS. The chart, in fact, looks nicer again. So, as if you're following my video frequently, you know my comment on OCBC is always, hey, the chart is nicer than DBS. Hey, the chart is nicer than UOB. So you can see there's a downtrend line over here, and there's a flat support over here. So if I draw a bigger picture, this is actually a big bullish pennant formation. And what OCBC needs is a breakout over here at this point, where it breaks up and continue upward movement, right, towards, okay, maybe that's a far-fetched projection, but should be around 1183, then towards around maybe somewhere here. Okay, of course, again, if I want to do a proper projection, yeah, so it's about somewhere around here. Okay, so that is in the scenario where the whole market is very bullish, where we can see a strong market sentiment, where Hang Sengs are moving up, you know, STI follow through US also moving up. That will be the extreme bullish scenario. UOB, very similar chart to DBS, is still unknown whether you should go up or go down, but the key level to watch is these two level. So major resistance is at 25.76. Why major? Because 25.76 has been tested 2 times. Tested means you go to 25.76, you fail to break out, so you pull back. Then the second time you went up and try that level again, trade to that level, see any buyer follow through, no buyer follow up, so you pull back again. So of course, the support level at 25, 27 is also a major support. So it's a sideways chart over here. So what we are looking at is a potential change of trend. In fact, it's already changing its trend. It's moving in sideways from the uptrend. So the next potential change in trend is where it breaks up above 25.76 or breaks down 25.27. Okay, so that concludes the banks where we are looking at the movement. It's not conclusive like consolidating, but we need a breakout to be clear. So this is where we have to watch further to see what will be the next potential movement. Of course, like I mentioned, if you were to break out for DBS, for example, if you were to break out, if you take some chance, well, that is possible. And if uptrend were to continue, it may continue go up higher. Now let's take a look at the technology sector. So Franken has hit onto its resistance, its major resistance over here, tested 2 times 1.45, about 1.44 level. As you can see today, candles, black candle body significantly long, the volume surge up. So this could means that there could be more selling pressure coming for this counter. So got to watch out. In recent time, of course, sector move together. Franken move up, AEM moves up, UMS move up. Franken moves down, UMS move down, AEM moves down. So could Franken be the only counter that move alone moving down? On AEM side, the chart looks on the opposite. AEM chart is actually still at the bottom. Okay, and if you look at the highs over here is $4.72. And if you were to study further in details of the recent movement, you can see that the lows are getting higher. You know, overall the candles lows are still getting higher. And then we do see a small resistance over here that it needs to clear, that it hasn't been able to clear, which is about 398. So once it clear that resistance, probably we may see some more upward movement. So we need a strong breakout. So starting the historical movement from AEM before, it is not new that it came down and then started to hover at the bottom. So you can see that over here, there are many attempts to rebound, but always fail. So they accumulate, reaccumulate, accumulate, reaccumulate until eventually they finish all the accumulation here. Then they start to move upwards. Okay, so I won't be surprised to see that AEM accumulate, reaccumulate, accumulate again, reaccumulate, then eventually break up and hit back to 472. Okay, so watch out for, let's see whether where AEM is going to be. So of course, the best case scenario is it break out 398, straight away it goes to 472. Then venture, one of the heavyweight in STI, looking interesting. You can see that the pullback volume is decreasing. If you look at the indicators over here, it's sitting just right above its 50-day MA. And of course, if it can rebound upwards, resistance to watch is from 2050, 2069. Okay, so these are the levels for you to take note. UMS. Okay, after rebounded strongly. So for those who follow my email closely, of course, you will find that one of the highlights was UMS. In fact, I myself added a position here when it was at the low where everybody was fearful about this counter. So I added a small position. And then to see the counters rebound back up to here. So whether UMS can continue higher, of course, we can see that there is a resistance at 128 for now. All right, just nice. It was a previous support, so it turns as a resistance right now. And if it can break above this resistance, of course, hopefully it can do so. The next major resistance will be at 140. The next support term resistance will be at 133. So there are two critical levels for UMS to really clear. So hopefully it can go back to 140 where, everybody will be happy or even happier. But of course, it's understandable if UMS wants to have a rest, pull back to find some support over here and rebound back upwards. So as we understand that, of course, strong bullish movement don't just come like that. So sometimes you may have like UMS accumulation, reaccumulation, accumulation, reaccumulation, accumulate, reaccumulate, accumulate, reaccumulate all the way, then let go, break out, stocks really all the way up to the high. Okay, so we have to watch whether it can break out from 128. Not really an entry or a trading sign that we can look for in terms of UMS and AEM. Of course, it's possible if we can break out. Franken, not really for long. Venture maybe can consider because if it can rebound a white candle over here, we may see it test 2069 resistance. Nano firm, recent upgrades. If you follow my email, I did cover about Nano firm and I mentioned about this downtrend line. If you take a look here, this downtrend line has been resisting this counter for 1, 2, 3, 4. So finally, Nano firm mastered the strength and break above this downtrend line. And here it is trading right just below its resistance around here, 508. So if Nano firm pull back to maybe around 483 level and eventually rebound from there, right? This could be a bullish move where you find support on the downtrend line, rebound, break out from resistance, then it's well on its way to 540 or even higher. Some analysts give a target of 622. Okay, so all these tech counters so far, their chart still look okay. Overall looks okay. Maybe some are primed for a slight pullback before they muster enough bullish pressure to break above its resistance and then hit for new highs like Franken. Okay, so we got to watch further. Next is let's talk about the transport. The airlines are very popular now. Sets in particularly, I find it interesting where you can find that it is right now sitting at support level. If you recall last week where I talked about sets, the expected consolidation is going on. So it actually failed to break out from resistance. It pulled back. So it is over here. I mentioned that, oh, it comes to here. Of course, if you can break out immediately, it's good. If not, it may pull back and then start to form some bullish pattern and then of course continue go up. So the chance is here. So if sets can confirm this rebound from this support level, of course just sitting right above is 20-day MA. So this will be one of the opportunity for you to enter, take a chance, and then eventually break out. Then sets may have a more upward movement, and hopefully this is more convincing one towards 4.88. Okay. SIA, expected consolidation comes in. You can see here, goes up, consolidate, goes up, consolidate, goes up, consolidate, goes up. If that happened, of course, if you like to follow through with the breakout strategy, yep, check out the volume. So you notice that every time when you break out, the volume is very healthy, strong, and when you pull back, the volume is always low. These are signs of bullishness for so far the trades of SIA. So watch out for the next round of movement. So once the volume starts to surge up, you can take a chance. Okay. Of course, if you notice SIA, let me just pull out the indicators so that we have a clearer. So it's sort of like a stash, like last week or 2 weeks ago, I mentioned about Hong Kong and the stash, remember, where we do a very symmetrical projection. So of course, we can see that, SIA breakout went up, so it went higher over here. So this seems like an exceptional movement. But if you were to measure the normal movement for SIA, when you break out, it goes up 7.5%. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So basically we would see that, oh, okay, this 7.5% seems to be a reasonable movement for SIA. So what SIA is going to move next? Maybe another 7% or 7.5% higher, 610 could be the projected level to the next level that is moving. So it's moving up step by step, healthy, right? Step by step, that's healthy, so that it won't have any bearish divergence to change its trend or change its course in the stock price movement. Now SIA Engineering is sort of like weak because a lot of days of continuous selling, black candles all the way, and there is no sign of rebound as yet. Okay, so I did a study on its weekly chart. It does look pretty ugly with a very long upper shadow, but hey, you see here, over here, this is a very similar fashion of candles has been formed. So what we are looking for is a similar white candle over here. Then SIA Engineering may be ready to move up. So if SIA Engineering can rebound back to 218, then hit 225, 227, break up from there. Of course, it form a white candle, then the whole chart can go bullish again. Okay, so but more observations need to be done on this SIA Engineering. Now, before I jump to Nasdaq, I just want to touch on the property sectors in Singapore. So don't worry, I'm going to, in my comment, I'm going to segment out. I'm going to tell you what time to what time is what sector that I covered, so that you can just jump as you like, so that it's easier for you to look at the video. So here we look at CapitaLand. So many ask me the question, what happened to CapitaLand? Well, CapitaLand, they offered the to restructure their whole business by delisting CapitaLand, release out a new company called CapitaLand Investment Management. Okay, and this helped to push CapitaLand all the way to $4.01 this morning, and then it subside and then push all the way back down, eventually closed at 375. Okay, so what happened is that CapitaLand is ready to offer you a one-to-one swap of your CapitaLand share to the new CapitaLand Investment Management shares, so 1-to-1. And on top of that, of course, they're going to give you some cash offer at 0.95. So the CapitaLand Investment Management is valued at 2.8 plus the 95 cents, which is about $1. So you're going to get a value of 3.75. So on top of that, they are going to pare down the holdings in Capital Integrated Commercial, used to be CapMall. So they are going to distribute this 6% worth of CICT to the existing shareholder for CapitaLand. Okay, so that would make up the offer to be 410. Okay, 410. So if you hold these stocks till the end of this year, because according to their schedule, they plan to complete this whole exercise Q4 2021. So it's around the end of this year. Then you expect to get all this. So along the way, it's still a long time to go. So along the way, you can see some fluctuation for CapitaLand stocks price. Especially today, we can see a lot of strong selling pressure where a lot of people took opportunity to exit the shares. Okay, so but overall, it's still a good deal. Many are looking at to buy back the share, as I understand. But of course, going forward, what can we look out for? Now, this exercise, actually trigger a massive selling on their REITs, like Ascendas REIT is under CapitaLand, Ascendas India's Trust, Escort, Capital, CICT, then of course Capital Retail China or CapitaLand China. Now they call it CapitaLand China. So in fact, we see Ascendas REIT have a heavy sell down, and then followed by CICT as well. So not too sure why the market doesn't like these two REITs and then dump it, seriously and badly down. But anyway, CapitaLand, the fair value to enter, we calculated not based on chart, because chart we don't see anything now. So the fair value is about 365 to 370 thereabouts. Okay, so if you like to invest in CapitaLand, so look out for this level for investment. Anything below 365, of course, it's worth investing towards the end of the year. Of course, all this offer is not including the dividend that they have declared. It's a 9-cent dividend which is going to be given out somewhere in May. Okay, now let's take a look at the city development chart. So you can see the first black candle over here. So this may start a pullback towards support level 768. Okay, is the support level to watch. Then UOL. I mentioned last week that there is a consolidation going on, and UOL is primed for a breakout, rebound to resistance, and primed for a breakout, and it did. So congratulations to shareholders who are holding it. So next is that UOL next resistance to watch is 791. So let's hope that it can test that resistance and eventually break out from there. So the past 2-day consolidation is met with low volume. So hopefully this is a bullish sign, because we don't see any bearish one as yet, but certainly not very bullish sign. So that's why I use the word hopeful. So 791 will be the resistance to watch. Okay, now let's start with the Nasdaq. Okay, so when we talk about Nasdaq, of course, we tend to look for signs, and same as TA, same as Singapore. So here we can see that there was a heavy selling here, and then a slight rebound, then break down severely all the way, and this formed the lower low, lower low. Okay, then there is a good rebound back to this high. Okay, then there is a pullback, and last night there was a rebound, and if tonight can continue to push Nasdaq back to 1330, then we can see an inverse head and shoulder formation. So if this leads to a recovery, then Nasdaq will be on a new high again, which is very common. It happened so many years already. So Nasdaq, the next projected level will be 14436. Okay, so had it happened before? Yes, it happened before. You can see here and then eventually Nasdaq break new high and go higher. And had it happened before? Yes, Nasdaq, pull back, severe selling all the way. I don't know really got to do anything with bond yield or not, but this is normal cycle of the stocks. It cannot be going up forever, isn't it? Okay, if there's any uh, peak in bond yield or not, Nasdaq still have to pull back. Okay, so whether they use bond yield as an excuse or not, it still has to pull back. Okay, so because it has been moving up all the way for quite some time, so a correction is quite normal. So here we can see that if this happened, well, historical new highs could be on the way in the making. So what are the popular counters that I personally is looking at? So before I move into that, just a shout out to those who are trading the US market. Um, I'm not really an expert in looking at those pharmaceutical counters because most of them doesn't make money. So, but technically, I can still study them. But whether they adhere to technical signals, most of them do. You can just personally apps me, and then I can go through the stocks next time. If you like to me to analyze some of your stocks in Nasdaq. Okay. So personally, I am having a Square, Tesla, Palantir, and then I'm looking at Lemonade. These are the counters. Just a brief introduction. Square is doing e-payment. It invested in Bitcoins. So is Tesla. It makes car. Invested big time in e-payment. No, sorry, Bitcoin. And of course, Palantir is doing government business. They actually have government contract based on AI. Their product is AI product, and then Lemonade is also using AI for this insurance business. Okay, so yeah, so why these counters are good? Okay, so let me just share with you. Okay, one of the things that you must check is you must at least go to this site and check. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So you go to investing.com, search for the stocks, and then you can go to this financial, and then there's an earnings over here. Okay, so once you are inside the earnings, right, you can see for the past few quarters they must have track records. So let's look at Square. Their earnings, their revenue has been going up, has been going every quarter. So this suggests a healthy growth. So the next quarter there will be no surprise that it continue to grow higher in its revenue. So if the company continue growth, of course the share price would move up as well. So for Palantir, you can see the revenue is quite healthy as well. There was a slight dip over here. There was a dip rather. There was a dip, then they regain traction and start to move up again. Of course, Tesla, not to forget, every year has been growing higher and higher. But of course, sometimes you see some rates. Rates means they miss the analyst expectation, but it doesn't mean that the company doesn't grow. So the share price would eventually recover if the company still continue to grow its revenue. So coming back to the chart here, we look at Square. Okay, so Square, it's it had a heavy sell down to as low as 191, rebound, and then pull back. So if I put in the indicators, you can see that in fact this counter is sitting on the 100-day MA support. So what are the chances of these stocks rebounding for 100-day MA support? So far, historically, it had been quite successful. So over here you can see, right? When it's above, just above the 100-day MA, it start to rebound back up. Of course, the best is to hold at its 50-day MA and rebound. So it's very common for the counters to do double dip. So you can see it test 50, rebound, test again, and then move all the way up. Okay, so here we can see a double dip, and in fact triple dip here. The first time we see it come near to 100, then after that try to break below 100, but eventually rebound, and then now we have the third time. So this could be one of the opportunity that you can look at. If this rebound were to take place, then this counter would also form an inverse head and shoulder formation for the next upward movement. Okay, so watch out for this. So at this support level, of course, you can have some thoughts on your own. Yeah, Tesla, right? Very similar to the Nasdaq chart. Okay, ignore this long upper shadow. I'm not too sure. Probably some fat finger press and buy, and then after that, realize hey, they buy wrongly. Okay, in fact, this only lasted like 1 hour or something like that. Then after that, Tesla start to pull back. Okay, so here you can see a low, and you can see some rebound here. So we can see an inverse head and shoulder here. If Tesla can hit back this high at about 717, then we may see some breakout. Okay, of course, a lot of people target Tesla to be 3,000, 2,000, whatever. But all this doesn't affect me. What we are looking at is the potential entry over here. Okay, so of course, you can take a look. Right now, if the whole thing rebounds successfully, of course, Tesla has a target to go to, which is its previous high. So this is where you can consider that kind of movement for your next trade. Okay, so what did I say? Okay, what I'm saying is, of course, if you know that this could be happening, I'm not asking you to chase this counter. You can wait for the next course of signal where a rally followed by a pullback, then you enter. So of course, you can see there are many chances for you to enter Tesla, okay, when you pull back. So of course, you may not want to chase somewhere here, but on the next pullback, somewhere around here. Okay, Palantir, it's doing the government business using AI, unique business, a niche because no competitor at all, and it's holding at this 120-day MA support. So we can see MACD is improving if this MACD blue line can turn up, because there is a good chance for Palantir to move back up to where it should be at the resistance, break out from the resistance, and then move back to this level over here, about 37 dollar. Okay, so yeah, so for your consideration over here, if you are looking at support, technically we look for support, then for long action, for short action and resistance. Lemonade, a good fintech company. No doubt the earnings last quarter was a bit soft, but because this is one of the chance indicator, after the heavy sell down, indicators suggest that there is a potential recovery with the MACD line going up. So we need a rebound up and then back to test this 114 resistance, and then we have a double bottom or an ascending triangle to push the counter back to its 135 level. It's quite interesting. Of course, I was hoping that Lemonade can pull to 86 level back again and then rebound from there, and then this will form a nicer double bottom, and then here we can trade from there. It will be even nicer. So let's see whether we have the chance to enter lower, or if it has to rebound from here, then might as well just get one batch right up front. All right, so this will be the end of my video recording. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Okay, so I will try to cover as many stocks as possible in a short time, okay, so that I will not lose your attention. If you like me to cover any stocks, feel free to WhatsApp me, or even you can comment in YouTube. I try to look at the YouTube messages. If you were to leave me any messages, of course, I will just try to reply from there. Okay, so right, with this, very good evening and good night to you.